Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna change the coolant in my Santa Fe 2013. And what I mean by change the coolant, in reality you cannot really flush the air interior system one time. You have to do this process a couple of times if you really want to replace all the fluid inside of this engine. But if, like me, you take care of your car and it's just a maintenance, we're gonna we're gonna change the coolant inside of the radiator and replace it with a good quality one expressly made for Hyundai and Kia. Be careful to know what kind of coolant you put in your car. By the way, I got a nice video about coolant if you got any question about that. So this job is really easy. This is really cheap, and I'm gonna show you 3 ways that you can do at home with common tools, even with a nicer tool that you can buy for cheap and keep the rest of your life. Okay, so now the question is when you have to change your coolant. In my case, I change the coolant on every car I got every 2 years. The reason why is this is really cheap and fun to do. It won't take long, and it will preserve the good state of your engine. You really want to take care of this coolant because it can turn acid and create a lot of corrosion inside of the system, and this corrosion will start to eat your head gasket, and when the head gasket fails, you get a lot of problem because sometimes you can overheat your engine and blow it, and you can have some problem with the compression. So you really want to take care of this. This is so cheap. I change it every 2 years just to make sure, because we're gonna change maybe 3 or 4 liters. Sorry. You can remove this cap, you twist it and you push it at the end and twist it again to release it. Okay, you can take those kind of pump to see the condition, the level of protection that you got. What you have to do is simply to fold this bottle and just to check the arrow. Where is the arrow? So it's at the top, so you know that you got enough protection against cooling and overheating, because the coolant can boil if the mix is not correct. So that's it. And now we're gonna put the car on the ramps. You can do this job without the ramps because I'm gonna show you. You can do this job without the ramps because just right there, I'm gonna try to zoom in on that, but this is the pet cup valve, so you can reach with your arm. And by the way, you always want to work on a cold engine, so you can unscrew this valve and coolant will go out at the bottom of the radiator. As you see on the picture right there, this is where the coolant goes out. But just to show you correctly, I'm gonna put the car on the ramps, remove the plastic under the car that I remove actually because I done a lot of work on this car. So you have to remove this plastic to get access to the petcock, but this is really easy. You just have to remove a couple of 10 millimeters. When you're gonna do this job, if you don't got the venturi system to really suck out every ounce of air that you got on the system, make sure to put your heat at the maximum to let the chance to the heater core to open, because the heater core is situated just right there under the dash, and there's a valve that can open and get a chance to escape. All the air can be left inside of this heater core. So this is why you want to put the heat at the maximum. And now you want to have a nice bucket like this one that can hold almost 2 gallons, just to make sure. So now we are ready to drain out the coolant. I'm gonna go under the car. Okay, so as you see, I remove the plastic, it goes under the car. And now this is the back of the car, and just at the front I'm gonna flip the phone, and as you see, this is the AC compressor, just to show you. So I'm gonna insert the phone just right there, and as you see, this is this valve right there that you're gonna have to remove, and coolant will flow by this hole right there. So just place your pen under it and turn it until coolant is gonna release. And you can open the coolant cap at the top, so the fluid will come really more quickly if you remove it. So now the coolant starts dripping. Just like this. So now I'm gonna open the cap at the top of the reservoir, at the top of the radiator, and you're gonna see the coolant flows much more faster. Okay. So, attention, Liam va pas là. Viens ici à côté de moi ici. So now you're gonna let the coolant goes out just like this for something around 15 minutes to completely drain out the radiator. And what you can do, you can always try to just lift a little bit the rear of the car with a jack, or just put the car down on the ramps and use the ramps, look, just like I'm gonna show you that I done with my Kia Sedona, just to lift the rear a little bit, and you're gonna be able to extract more coolant of this system. Yann, va me chercher la chaudière. Blanche, vite, vite, vite. Vite, va chercher la chaudière, papa. Oui, vite, vite, vite. Oui, elle. Ah, c'est difficile, hein? Okay. Approche-la un peu pareil. Vite. Merci. Okay. Okay. Make sure to get 2 buckets because it's starting to drip on this side too, because coolant flows somewhere around that, and I have 2 drain like this of coolant. So make sure that you're gonna have another bucket just to make sure. And during the time that the coolant flows, I'm gonna remove the reservoir of the coolant. This is just 2 bolts. One there and one there. So we're gonna be able to remove the reservoir, and you just have to unplug the end of the pipe just right there. Okay, and now you're gonna be able to empty the reservoir on your bucket. Okay, so I replace the reservoir in place. So, and by the way, if you want to make a flush, make sure to remove this thermostat. This thermostat is located just under this hose right there. So you have to remove a couple of hose to make you some places, but right under there, just right there, this is the place that your thermostat is. And if you remove that thermostat, what is gonna happen, the coolant will flow between the engine and the radiator very faster, because it will travel. You're not gonna have to wait that the normal temperature is gonna be reached with the engine, so it's gonna flow and flow and flow again and again. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna just have to make all this operation a couple of times, like 3 or 4 times, and you will be sure that most of the coolant will be replaced. But in this case, like I said before, it's just a maintenance. So if you do it at every 2 years, you will be fine, because coolant can last a very long time. So in this case, they make a lot of big promises that I'm not gonna trust. 250,000 kilometers is way too much, but you know that the coolant can stay good for a very long time. So if you change it every 2 years, you don't have to worry, even if you don't replace the entirety of the system. But if you don't know and you really want to make sure to make a flush, you can always add some cleaning agents inside of your system and clean and clean and clean again and again. And please don't put tap water on any step of this this job, because tap water got a lot of minerals inside of it, and mineral can make your system corroded very fast because there's a lot of impurities inside of it. So make sure to just use distilled water, so you won't have any debris, anything inside. You just have pure water. It's over, it's empty, so you just have to close again the petcock, and that's it for this step. We collect almost 1.5 gallons, so 4 liters of coolant. So make sure that you got at least 1 gallon or of concentrate or 2 gallons of premix. I'm gonna show you why. Merci à toi, bébé, de m'aider. Bon, okay. So now what we're gonna do, I measure the half, I put an half of gallon of, so if you go on my video about coolant, you're gonna know exactly how I do to make sure that my 50-50 ratio is done. So I mark the line at the half of the gallon, and the other half of the gallon I make a line. So I'm gonna put some concentrate of a coolant that I'm gonna mix with distilled water to save money. So whoopsie. So just like this, we got the half of the gallon, and now you're gonna add some distilled water. And yes, demineralized water works, but for the same price, buy some distilled water. And by the way, yes, my English sucks because my first language is French, so this is why I make some mistakes, but I try to do my best to be well understand. So just like this, we are sure to get our 50-50 ratio, because 50-50 is the most common ratio that you want with concentrate and water. So we're gonna be sure to get a good protection against freezing and against hot temperature. You got a couple of options. The cheaper one is to get a big funnel, much bigger than this one, but basically you fold your radiator and you top off the funnel and you start the car, and you let it run for a couple of minutes, something like 30 minutes, to make sure that the car get to this operating temperature. And what is gonna happen, the fact that you got the level with the coolant right there, this is the highest point of the car with coolant, so air will try to escape of this place. Make sure that you get your coolant top off, because air will burp out of the system. So you let the car run until there's no air at all trying to escape the system. And now you can buy those kind of filler. Okay, it comes with a couple of adapter. It goes on your car, and what is nice, you got this little piece that you can plug the end right there. You can block the hole, so even if your funnel is full, you're not gonna make mess. So this is why this system is really nice when you burp the system. So I'm gonna leave the link of this kind of funnel in the description, but the best way to do it, I'm gonna show you. And now you're gonna spend $100, but trust me, this is so nice. Okay, so this system is a bleeding system for coolant. This is a venturi system, so that system use your air compressor at home, and you just have to plug your air compressor there. And basically what is gonna happen when the air passes through the venturi valve, it gets suction in the blue hose. So we're gonna connect the system to the radiator. So I'm gonna use this cone. It works really well. And now what you're gonna do, you're gonna put the blue hose on the cone, just like this. And now you're gonna twist this hose right there on the exit. This is where the air will go out of the system. Okay, after that you're gonna plug this pipe. There is a little screen at the end, so you know that this section will go in your gallon of fresh coolant. So I'm gonna plug it like this. Put the gallon somewhere like this. Throw the pipe into the gallon at the bottom of it. Okay, so make sure every valve is closed, and by the way, this thing right there is a valve, so it will let or not let the air pass through. And now the air compressor line goes right there. So this is it. My son is there to help me. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna open the venturi valve. Okay, so when the valve is in the line with the pipe, you know that you are open. And now we're gonna make some vacuum inside of the stem. Okay, you can go at 20 if you want, but check this out. Okay. Okay. So now you see I'm close to 15. So just for now, because I want to remove the air inside of the pipe, you know, this pipe right there, it got a lot of air inside of it, so I want to suck this air to not introduce air inside of my system. So now you can let the gauge like this a couple of minutes to see if your system is sealed, because you should not have issue with that, because it's supposed to be sealed. And if you got some problem, you can put a set of pliers at the end of this hose. This is the hose goes to the reservoir, but because I use the cone, it's blocked the air that goes to this pipe, so I don't have to do anything with that for the moment. Okay? Bientôt. Ça sera pas bien long. Okay, so now we got some vacuum inside of the stem. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just open this valve right there carefully, just to see the coolant goes, and when it reach this valve right there, I'm gonna close it to make sure the coolant not goes inside of the stem. So just like this. Okay, so now we know that we don't have any air inside of the stem. So now I'm gonna complete the venturi on this system. So I'm gonna open the air compressor. This is the orange valve, and open the venturi. So now it's gonna start to suck the air inside of it, but now my compressor is dead, so I'm gonna restart that. Okay, so now I'm gonna open the venturi. Oh, sorry, you have to open the orange valve first, and now open the venturi. So you're gonna see I'm gonna stop in the yellow section. So I'm gonna restart my air compressor because it's a really tiny compressor. So I'm gonna let the time to my compressor to refill and complete the suction in the system. So just like this, it's good. So somewhere around 22, 23, something like that. So now I close the valve of the venturi, and I close the valve of the compressor. So the only thing I have to do is to open the valve of the coolant gallon and check it out. Make sure that your hose is at the bottom, and I just have to open this valve until the pressure is going to be at 0. So you're going to see your hose of the radiator going to collapse just like this one. So don't be scared, it's normal. The hose are flexible, that's what we want. So don't worry to break anything, and until that you have no pressure at all, you can let the hose suck every coolant inside of your gallon. But make sure that if your gallon is empty and you have to need more, you just have to close this valve, change your gallon, and continue the process. Okay, so this is it. There's no pressure at all, and as you see, it sucks a complete gallon or so. So the rest I'm gonna put it on the reservoir. Okay, so now as you see, the coolant is just right there. It should be. And now I replug the hose of the reservoir, and now you just have to finish the job and top off the coolant reservoir. And the best place is just between the full and the low, because you want to let space if the coolant expand. So this is it, guys. You complete the job. Take a look on your under the hood a couple of 100 miles after you've done the change, just to make sure that your level is okay, and make sure that your system is correctly bleed of air, and keep the eyes on the temperature for the couple first 100 miles. And that's it. That costs somewhere around 20 bucks to do this job. Yes, I buy the tool at somewhere around 80 bucks. So for less than 100 bucks, I done the job by myself, and I got the tool for the next time. So it's gonna fit on the Corvette and also on the van. So this is a good idea to buy it. So I hope that my video helps you. Please leave me a thumbs up and consider to subscribe to my channel. Have a good day.